they couldn't go into a football team in high school and compete well because they're just going to get eviscerated. So there has been an effort that's been backed by the Seahawks and Doug Baldwin. They've been petitioning the WIAA to allow girls in high school to compete as a certified sport in flag football. And there was a lot of support for this idea, but the WIAA has just voted and they've decided that they're not going to do that. This segment is brought to you by Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. I'm down 37 pounds on the program and I lost most of that in just 2 months. Do what I did and what so many other undivided viewers have done. Schedule your free 15-minute consultation today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. So WIAA votes no flag football for girls. Now it's a club sport, but they want it to be an official recognized, they could have tournaments and all of that through WIAA, and the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association says no. This is from the Seattle Times. And I know Nicole heard from a lot of people yesterday like, this is bull. So we'll talk more about that. The WIAA released the results of voting from its representative assembly on Monday morning, and girls flag football was not made a sanctioned sport in the state. The Rep Assembly is made up of 53 members from across the state and is largely populated with athletic directors. Flag football was one of 13 amendments, so-called because they amend the state constitution or rule book that failed. Girls badminton was also not added as a sport, nor was esports. An amendment needs 60% to pass. The vote was 26-27 against it. So it just narrowly failed. Nicole, if you want to come in and talk a little bit about what people have been telling you about this, it sounds like their rationale was, there's not enough girl athletes to go around to add another sport. Kind of.
So a couple of their reasoning behind this decision was that they didn't have the space to provide them given the season. There would be too many spring sports. You can't play it in the winter because it would snow, things like that. But as I think I heard Brock Heward point out yesterday, they could do half fields. They could make it work. There's lots of options for that. And then the other complaint was that it would take away from other girls sports, which I just think is obnoxious because it is the girl's choice which sport she wants to play. So you can't say we're not going to do flag football because we want enough girls to play volleyball. If they want to play flag football over volleyball, that's their choice. So sorry, you don't have enough to or volleyball players, but that's the way it goes. I just think those are ridiculous reasons because they're both easily put to bed.
Well, and also it is at a time where women's sports are, in my opinion, under attack. These spaces for women's sports are being taken over slowly by men. I'm not saying that there's a ton of trans athletes in women's sports, but it's allowed in our state. It's happening more and more by the year because a lot of it is social contagion. It just is. And so it's like, wow, can't you throw them a bone and give them a space where they can participate in something? Although if it is a WIAA sport, a recognized sport, boys would be able to play in it too. So then you'd have...
That might be one of the other things.
Right. Then you'd have... Which would bother me less than a sport like basketball where you have actual physical contact. At least it's flag football where some dude's not going to come in and absolutely flatten a girl. But it would be a girls sanctioned sport, but would it be?
Right. No, that's a very good point. Maybe they're trying to avoid that conflict. But yeah, another reason I've heard is funding, but the Seahawks were willing to fund it. Yeah. So they've given them multiple grants. They've agreed to grants or something to make it happen. So yeah, maybe that is the only reason they've got left is we're just going to have a bunch of boys play and we don't want that. So
I don't know, but it seems there's a lot of parents who are upset by this, you make a good point about, okay, so if girls want to do flag football instead of volleyball, so be it. But you're going to force them into a certain sport? It's girls get the short end of the stick.